Hello viewers, today I'm going to make a video on Windows 10 and the video is going to discuss which web browsers seem to be the best for browsing YouTube. I have done a similar video to this in the past which underscored these topics relatively briefly, but this video I want to take a closer look at it, open up each browser and get some information on how each browser is actually playing a video. So I got four browsers on here. I got the Google Chrome, the Mozilla Firefox, the Microsoft Internet Explorer, and the Microsoft Edge. Now I've heard very bad things about the Edge, and for the most part I would concur. Though the same could be said about Internet Explorer. I've also been hearing things about Firefox, and I've experienced things with Firefox having a lot of issues playing YouTube. So that having been said, I know what the results I've already tested this, but I'm just going to make a hypothesis that the Google Chrome would probably be the best browser, I would think, to play YouTube because Google owns YouTube, therefore they probably would optimize their browser to work with their own websites. That would be my theory. But let's actually go ahead and test that. The way I'm going to test is we'll open each browser, we'll play a video, we'll try a couple different resolutions, full screen, not full screen, and I'm just going to look at the drop frames, see how many frames it's dropping per video. That's not the best way to test it. It's certainly not the most conclusive way to test it, but for this particular video and this experiment, I think that'll be more than adequate to give us a good idea as to how well each browser is really going to play a video and how smooth the playback is going to be. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'll start off with Google Chrome. So I'm going to open this up. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to play the same video. I'm just going to use some random video that I have on my channel because if I do anything else from elsewhere, it's going to get copyright. I got to sign in here. Okay, so now everything's all set to go. I'm just going to play this video. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL so we don't have this issue again in the future. And I'm going to open, what I'll do is I'll play it on this monitor and I'll get a closer view here of this. And what I'll do is I'll show the stats for each video and we're just going to compare the drop frames. So first I'll open this up here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Here it is. Okay, so here's the drop frames segment on the bottom. It just starts. There's no drop frames. I'm going to start off playing in HD 720p and we'll see how that goes. So start off, I'm going to mute this because there's no reason here to. And we had one drop frame so far, but otherwise the playback is pretty smooth right now. It's picking up every frame. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to full screen now. And we dropped a couple frames while we were switching to full screen. Otherwise the playback is okay. It looks pretty good. It's not quite as fluid as it was when it was in a small player, but it's still okay. So I'm going to bump this up to 1080p. So we'll start with the small player first, and then we'll go to the big player. And we'll do the same portion of the video just so you can have a good idea. Actually, you know what? Nah, that'll be fine. Okay, so it's dropping about, so it's dropping quite a few frames. I'm not sure if can you even see the drop frame. Let's go zoom in a bit here. You can also hear the CPU powers picking up on the computer. So we're dropping quite a few frames, more than is really going to produce a good video. You can see it's kind of, I don't know how you describe it, it's glitching out a bit. So let's do full screen, which I don't think it'll be able to handle whatsoever. It's also worth underscoring that this computer is very old. It's just a Pentium D processor. You know, if you had a better computer, it'd work better, obviously. Alright, so It actually looks like it's playing reasonably well right now. It is dropping a few frames, but actually it's not doing too bad. I missed a couple there. Zoom out so you can see the rest of the video. Actually, this is playing better than I would have anticipated it playing. Hasn't dropped any frames. There it goes. Dropped a couple more there. So I mean, this is watchable. It's definitely dropping a few frames. It's not totally fluid, but it's watchable. It is worth noting, though, however, that the CPU usage is just about maxed out at full, and there's nothing else running on the computer, so that's all going just for playing the video. So that's, you know, playing reasonably well. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this out now, and the next browser we'll do is going to be the Firefox. Get this open here. Okay, so follow the same procedure. I'm going to start in 720p in small player. And actually it's starting in 1080. Go back to 720. Alright, and we'll start off in a small player, and let's go. Get rid of the sound. So this is playing pretty good as I would have expected. It's not using much CPU, only about 25 to 30%, which is pretty good. No drop frames. It's really fluid. Looks really good. So I'm gonna full screen it now. Probably drop a few frames as it switches to full screen. Oh no, it actually didn't. Interesting. All right. Still playing pretty good. Skip to a part where we have actually motion to see. Here we go. And this doesn't look quite as sharp as it should, but it is in 720. Dropped a few frames switching, but otherwise it looks like it's still playing pretty well. Not much CPU usage, only about 30% still. Alright, so let's go to 1080p. And we had a little bit of a peak on CPU usage, but it's back down about 30%. And it's still playing very fluidly. There's no dropped frames whatsoever. Let's switch to full screen. And it's actually still playing perfectly. No dropped frames. Very, very strange. This is much different results than I was getting the other day. Alright, well, since this appears to be perfectly fine, so far the Google Chrome had a few dropped frames in 1080p full screen. Firefox was perfectly fine. So next I will do Internet Explorer. Which I have never even opened on this machine. Okay. And let's get rid of that tab. Alright, so let's go back to the beginning. We'll start off Now this is, the defaulting is only 360p, so I'm going to bump this up to 720p and we'll start testing from there. That's quite surprising. Actually, it's playing perfectly fine. Now let's switch to full screen. Having a focus issue here. So as you can see, this is playing pretty nicely. There's not a single dropped frame yet. Let's switch to 1080p and see what happens. Still no dropped frames, and it's playing pretty well. Let's try full screen. Now, I want to underscore how quickly that switched from full screen to the small player, because that was really strange. Note how it's doing that almost flawlessly. CPU usage is about 15%. That's almost half of that as Firefox. And it is still playing perfectly fine. We haven't had a single dropped frame yet. So lastly, I'm going to go get the Microsoft Edge going, and let's try this. That's defaulting where I want it to, so that's good. Okay. Zoom this back in again. It's playing fine. Go to full screen. Still doing alright. So let's switch to 1080. It seems fine. Full screen. And it still seems to be playing perfectly fine. CPU usage has gone up to about 30% again. Now it's down to 13. So I'm going to see if I can get this to do a dropped frame here. This is playing really consistently. So this is doing no dropped frames whatsoever. I'm going to go back over to the Google Chrome. I'm going to see if I can get it to do any dropped frames. I've already dropped 55, 80. And we're doing 1080p here. So note the struggle it has switching from the small player to the full screen player. Now, these results that we're having right now are a fair bit more like what I was experiencing the other day. As you can see, we've already dropped over almost 300 frames out of 1,000 or so. So that's really not good, and it's still going up. Now, if I'm going to switch this to small player again, it's going to drop a lot of frames in between there. It dropped almost 100 frames in the process of switching between full screen to the small player. And I imagine the same is going to be going back and forth here. Actually, it wasn't so bad going to it, but leaving it doesn't play very well. So this is very surprising to me. The amount of dropped frames and also the CPU usage is going crazy once we open Google. There's a lot of dropped frames that are coming out right now. And as you saw with the Microsoft Edge, now don't get me wrong, I am not an advocate for Microsoft Edge or even Windows 10, to be honest with you. But I have to say, in this particular case, for playing videos on YouTube, on this computer anyways, this old computer, it does seem to be that the Microsoft Edge and or the Microsoft Internet Explorer have unbelievable capabilities to play full resolution videos, one without taxing the CPU and also without skipping any frames. Whereas if we go back in the Google Chrome here, the same thing with the Firefox, it will take up all the CPU resources, and even then it's still dropping frames. So that is really surprising to me, that the Microsoft Edge has been, it has better performance, at least for YouTube anyways, than other more widely used browsers like the Google Chrome. So I thought that was very interesting. I don't know why that is the case. I haven't looked into it yet. It could have something to do with the fact that one's using Flash Player, one's using HTML5. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't looked into it. But I do want to underscore that, for whatever reason, the results are very, very obscure here. And I am going to run some tests probably on maybe Windows 7 or Windows XP and compare these browsers. Obviously there won't be Microsoft Edge, but I want to compare the browsers again because this is very strange, and I think it's only going to happen on Windows 10. So anyways, kind of turned into a long video. We're almost at 19 minutes here, but hopefully somebody found this interesting. I thought the results were very interesting, and I will be doing a test like this on a different platform soon. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you have one, and subscribe for more videos. Out.